Welcome, dear listeners. Before we dive into today's conversation, let's just take a moment to arrive fully and become present in this space, in this moment, into yourself. Start to focus in on your breathing, in and out, wherever you are, whether you're walking, sitting, laying down. Start to bring your awareness to your body. And if it feels right, start to close your eyes or lower your gaze, unless, of course, you are driving. Start to take a deep breath in.
What if the truth came in a gel cap and we could just pop it in our mouths and forget about it? Well, it doesn't, and we can't. But we can laugh in the face of reality while plotting our survival. Welcome to the Truth Tastes Funny podcast. I am your host, Hirsch Redpun, and if my guests can handle the truth, so can you. Open wide, folks. Here it comes. Mike Reed is a renowned sound healer, musician, and entrepreneur. He's dedicated to helping others experience deep transformation through the power of sound. As the founder of SoundQuest and SoundQuest Academy, he's led thousands through immersive sound healing experiences, blending his background in music, counseling, and shamanic practice to create powerful restorative journeys. And Mike is our guest today on Truth Tastes Funny. We're going to talk about SoundQuest Academy. We're going to talk about how Mike empowers aspiring sound healers with the tools and strategies to turn their passion into a thriving business. And his sound healer business blueprint has actually become a leading resource for those looking to build sustainable careers in the healing arts. So with a deep belief that sound is medicine, and with no further ado, we introduce and welcome Mike Reed.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's great to have you. Yeah. Good morning. I'm glad we started that off with a little sound bath to kind of get us in the mood. You know, it's a great opportunity to get some basics around sound healing. A lot of people probably don't know very much about it, but we recognize it when we hear it, so to speak. But yeah, share a little bit about it.
Yeah, so sound and vibration is very fascinating to dive into, for people who are, just becoming aware of what this is, because sound has the power to entrain our brain waves using certain frequencies, certain instruments, meaning it can sync up with our brain waves and our waking consciousness, our everyday executive functioning, task-orientated consciousness is called the beta brainwave. And this is what allows us to execute tasks and send emails and drive in our cars and have conversations. That's called the beta brainwave. But when we entrain the brain with certain frequencies and these instruments such as gongs, crystal singing bowls, Tibetan singing bowls, ocean drums, harmonium, chimes. These are the types of instruments that can drop us deeper into a different aperture of consciousness. So when they entrain our brainwaves, the mind will go from beta brainwave down to theta brainwave, which is also another way of saying meditation. And so for those people who have a difficult time meditating on their own, just sitting in lotus position, trying to drop into a deep state of meditation, this might be an amazing supplement for that, because you can achieve an involuntary state of meditation through sound healing. And you can also go even deeper into the delta brainwave, which is sleeping. So you can even induce sleeping through sound. And so what I do in my in-person experiences is really try to drop people into that oscillating space between meditation and sleeping, so that their nervous system can have a chance to pause, reset, and yeah, when you enter that theta and delta brainwave, your nervous system will go from the sympathetic side of the nervous system to the parasympathetic side of the nervous system, meaning deep rest.
Yeah.
And that's when the body will return itself to homeostasis, or self-healing, self-regulation. And people come out of these experiences reporting back to me all kinds of interesting phenomena that can happen. People talk about the visuals they might have had, or they've never experienced a meditation like that, where they were, in free flow, in this equanimity feeling. People have talked to me about even communicating with someone they love that passed away. These kinds of things can happen. And I always say, if I have 30 people in the room with me, there's going to be 30 entirely different experiences happening simultaneously. It just depends on what people are coming into the space with. So that's what I love to do. I love to help people regulate their nervous system and have a time for pause, because in our culture, in our world, there's so much busyness, and people think that they're going to achieve some kind of internal state or result by doing more activity, and
Yeah.
doing. And our culture doesn't teach us the power of just taking a pause and recalibrating your nervous system, so that
Well,
you can operate in the world with more creativity and less reactivity, right? So I think it's
yeah.
really important.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. And it's a large part of why I was so intrigued to have you on as a guest, because there's so little emphasis placed on rest. We do some lip service to the idea of self-care and what people need, but I think it's almost like rest, or being in a resting state, is so simple that it lacks, the power of feeling like it's useful. But that's obviously the point. For anyone who's done even a little bit of meditation, that there's no perfect meditation. It's not about that. There's It's perfectly fine, if we become so relaxed that we fall asleep when we're, doing it. As long as we're not driving, as you said, or holding anything, or as long as we're prepared to nod off. But resting our minds and allowing that creativity is super important. What I would love for you to share with the audience a little bit. A lot of us have gone through transformations in recent years. Maybe it's 5, 10 years. Where were you at when you
Mm.
made the decision to start, SoundQuest Academy, get into sound healing and so
Yeah.
forth? What was the awakening, so to speak, for you?
Yeah, great question. And some people might relate to this. 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago or so, I was quite miserable in my life. I was working a job that I was not passionate about at all. I was driving these giant trucks around in a mine, hauling earth from one place to another for 12 hours a day. And I was just doing it strictly for the paychecks, and I had no passion for that line of work at all. Um, and I was also going through a breakup at that time, which kind of left me bewildered. And so I got on this path of like seeking healing and wellness because I was like, I felt like this gift of desperation happening, right? I call it the gift of desperation when
Yeah.
life kind of brings you to your knees and then you just reach out for help, you get that humility of like, oh, I'm not doing something right here and I need to figure this out. So I started with just yoga. I started going to a yoga class every week, and that sort of started to show me that uh, you can change your inner state, your inner landscape through these holistic wellness practices, like just moving your body and stretching, and then getting to that shavasana position, the rest position at the end of a yoga class. And I was like, wow, I feel like renewed and restored. And then that turned into learning about breath work and learning about float tanks. I don't know if you've heard of those, like sensory
Yeah.
deprivation tank. Started doing that and got into men's work. And I took I went and explored plant medicine ceremonies and shamanism. And it just was,
Mike, let me stop you for a second. Sorry. What is men's work?
oh yeah, men's work is great. There's organizations and men's groups that are popping up all over the world now. And it's just where men circle up together and, find a safe container for, very relatable issues I think that we all go through, but are not conditioned to express or share our
Yeah.
challenges because we feel like a lot of men feel like they have to have this sort of like masculine invulnerability, right? But when you have these containers that are safe to share your truth, um, it's a really powerful thing to get into as a man to realize like, oh, I'm not alone. There's other men that are experiencing similar things as me, and we all work on it together and keep each other accountable. And it really helps like kind of sharpen your sword in life, so to speak. So men's
It's
work
great.
was really powerful. Um, and yeah, I just got on this path, like just one thread led to another. Yoga, breath work, men's work, shamanism, plant medicines. And through all of this seeking of healing and wellness, um, I discovered the power of sound healing because there was a sound bath happening um, near where I was living. And I just went and laid down to just kind of be curious and check it out. And um, I'll never forget that experience, that first experience I had with it, because I'd never gone that deep with a meditation before. And all I had to do was lie there and receive these frequencies and vibrations. And yeah, I just had like visions and the deepest meditation I've ever experienced. And so, because I have a musical background, music has been sort of an undercurrent in my life leading up to this point. I've always played guitar and drums and played in bands and that sort of thing. And because sound healing has musical elements to it, I found it fascinating. And I just was like, wow, this is really cool. And so I just started going down the rabbit hole of, reading books about it and going to workshops and buying instruments. And then I started offering one-on-one sessions for people in my home for free, just to see what worked and what didn't work. And it was sort of like a research and development phase of what I do now. And then when I felt ready, I went out and started offering this sound bath event. Funny enough, at the yoga studio where all this journey began, and it just started becoming successful, kind of pretty quickly. Like it was selling out, like 50 plus people in the room on a regular basis. And then I started to partner with other types of venues all around the region where I lived. And then eventually I was like, wow, I'm actually helping a lot of people, but I'm also making more money in one night than I was making at like the 40-hour per week
Wow.
job that I was working at the time.
Well, let me ask you this. So, you have this musical background, you were interested in music, you're a creative person. What happened, if I may ask, that, led you to that point in your life where you were doing this kind of mindless career that you were just doing for the paycheck? What had you maybe thought you would be doing, or why didn't you pursue something more creative?
That's a great question. I kind of kept falling on my face in like jobs and career ideas that I had. Like I have a degree in political science, and like I didn't really do much with that. I found it interesting, but then I was a real estate agent for a little while, and I didn't, that was not what I thought it was going to be. So I changed that plan, and then, I worked all these odd jobs, and yeah, kind of just was like never quite good at regular employment. Something just didn't sit right about it with me, like someone kind of having control over my schedule and calendar, I think was like the biggest downer for me in terms of being an employee.
Yeah.
Um, so I was really excited when I found something that I had, control of my schedule and my calendar, and it can be quite lucrative if you have the right model and systems in place, which I've kind of discovered over these years of doing that. And that's what I teach in my academy now is these applicable, proven systems that sound bath facilitators can use to do this, whether it's, a part-time kind of side hustle, or if they want to turn it into a full-time career. I have this course called the Sound Healer Blueprint, and that's what I teach inside SoundQuest Academy.
Now that's interesting for those who are listening that may have an interest in pursuing that and actually learning. Just a quick overview, maybe, Mike, of what's involved in sound healing as a career.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's important because there's currently no governing body that manages the qualifications of sound healers. So anybody can just buy some singing bowls and some instruments and think they know what they're doing. But I think it's really important to become masterful at this craft and understand what you're doing and how it's affecting people on a cellular level, how it's affecting people's brain waves and what it's actually doing, and how to play these instruments using certain techniques, which is what I also teach in the academy. So it's really important to get that foundational level of certain level of mastery of the uh, techniques and the playing and how to put together a soundscape and how to transition from one instrument to another, and what instruments to use and all that sort of thing. So that's really important. So that's the foundation. And then if you want to turn this into a career, then you need to have proven marketing systems is really important, and build a brand around what you're doing and become an authority of this craft in your region where you live, right? And so you're recognizable, you're magnetic, you're attractive. People start to spread the word about you. And also, another important aspect is to partner with strategic venues where you're going to be hosting these events, such as yoga studios and other types of venues that already come with an existing following and community, so that you can leverage their marketing and their following so that you can fill rooms on a regular basis. And then you can also create multiple streams of income. One big lucrative part of this is getting booked for things like corporate events and private wellness retreats and that sort of thing, and having a flat fee around that. And so, yeah, and affiliate marketing. And so there's all these systems that can be involved. And also changing your mindset from, if you're currently an employee, um, becoming an entrepreneur and having the mindset of kind of unplugging from that matrix, and creating your own path and getting used to taking that risk and putting yourself out there, And that's a really important mindset shift, I think, that is required to step into this full time.
So let's talk a little bit about, jumping off that, the atmosphere right now. Um, I mean, since the pandemic, it seems like people started experimenting with entrepreneurship and wanting to follow their dreams because we had been through this kind of very traumatic event and forces people to appreciate life and in a good way. The lining around that is that a lot of people have changed careers and opened up, new avenues for themselves that are, more fulfilling. So, as someone who has an academy for sound healing professionals, what are you seeing out there in the marketplace now, as far as people wanting to just leave the 9 to 5, leave the the employee mindset?
It's huge. I see, a lot of students come to my academy and they want to learn how to do this as a profession. And sound healing is one of the fastest growing wellness modalities in, the health industry right now. It's booming. There's like a sound healing boom happening in all the cities all over the world. It's wild, and people are really catching on. And the cool thing about this as a profession, as opposed to someone that does, let's say, massage therapy or acupuncture or these types of one-on-one healing modalities where you can only work with one person at a time. So let's say you're a massage therapist and you charge $120 per massage, right? So you would probably work 8 hours to make, let's say, like $1,000 in a day, or $900 to $1,000. Whereas sound healing, you can work on or work with, you know, 50. I recently did a sound bath for over 500 people at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Quite a large event center. So the point is that you can work on a multitude of people all at the same time, and if they're all paying, let's say, 40, 50, $60 each per person, then your time in for dollars out can be really efficient. So I find myself working in these short bursts of hyper focus, where I go out and I do an event and sell the tickets and everything. And then I go and execute the event, and it's usually a 90-minute experience. And I usually have about an average of 25 people in the room with me at the same time for my public events. And so if you do the math, it's like $1,500 in revenue for 90 minutes, as opposed to like $120 for an hour massage that a massage therapist would make, right? So I'm just saying this because if sound healers understood the systems to fill rooms and sell out these events on a regular basis, then they can and will make quite a good living doing this.
Now, is this, we're talking about, in-person sound healing. Uh, does it have to be done in person? Are people doing virtual healing sessions?
Right, yeah. So back during COVID, I discovered the power of live streaming my sound baths.
Sure.
So, all the venues that I was partnered with were closed down. People couldn't, be in person for a while there. And so I had to pivot, and I discovered live streaming, and I figured out some systems around how to attract people to a live streamed sound bath. And as long as you have the right equipment and get the sound translated through the microphones correctly, people can just experience your offerings remotely. And I would do that at night usually, and it would help people go to sleep. People would tune in and just listen in their headphones and drift off to bed afterwards, and people would report back saying it was the deepest sleep they'd had in a long time. And yeah, so it was successful. And then what I would do is I would sometimes just live stream through Instagram or social media platforms, and then just put a PayPal link in the bio, and then people would just like buy donation. And so if I had like 300 people watching the live stream, and people are donating like 5, 10, $20 here and there, it actually added up to quite a good income
Yeah.
for that time. And you can still do that, but I think it was really popular during COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love the geo specific part too, because it really allows people to build a following, build an experience, and to get back to the idea of really affecting people in a room, affecting people in real life. And
Hmm.
I suspect that the benefits of that are kind of not necessarily quantifiable, but they're considerable,
Yeah, absolutely. Hmm.
you know. Um, well, let's do this. We began with a meditation. Maybe we could take the last few minutes and do a kind of a closing meditation to leave our audience with a kind of a special, relaxed, and hopefully optimistic feeling.
Okay, sure. Let's do that. Sounds good to me.
I'm putting
So,
Mike on the spot. We hadn't planned on this per se, but I think it's a wonderful way to experience what you do and gain some benefit.
yeah, this is what I typically do at my in-person events is I help, there's a 10 to 15 minute process there. I help drop people in before the sound bath even starts using guided meditation, breath work, and some hypnosis techniques. So, yeah, I'm very much used to this. No problem. Let's do it.
We'll do a 5 minute closeout. How's that?
Sounds good to me. Let's do
All
it.
right, awesome. And thank you, Mike, for being on. If you're thinking of jumping off at this point, I encourage you to stay. You'll have a much more full and complete Truth Taste Funny experience if you stay with us for the next 5 minutes.
Okay. Let's begin. Just start to focus in on your breathing again. Deep inhales and exhales. And with each breath, allow yourself to settle. Start to feel into your physical body and notice any areas of tension that might feel tight or tense. And start to bring a sense of surrender and relaxation to those areas, whether it's the area between your eyes, your forehead, your eyelids, your jaw. Maybe your jaw is clenching. You can relax your jaw. Your shoulders might feel tight. Just continue to breathe and relax. And also let go of any distractions, any thoughts of to-do lists, any thoughts that are pulling you away from this moment, here and now. And imagine your breath as a wave flowing in, nourishing, filling you, and flowing out, carrying away any of that tension, any of that heaviness. And now bring your attention to your heart center. Feel into the rhythm there, the quiet pulse of life within you. Just know that this moment is yours. This space is yours. You're exactly where you should be. Allow yourself to be open. Open to new insights, open to inspiration, open to the beauty of connection. Take one more deep, full breath in. And as you exhale, gently bring your awareness back to the present. To the energy of the space around you. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, feeling clear, centered, and ready to move forward with your day with more clarity, ease, and grace.
Thanks so much for tuning into Truth Tastes Funny. If you enjoyed the experience, please leave a 5-star review and share this podcast with your friends.